Hey everyone. Hi Libra. Alright, happy November. Welcome to Opal Oracle. If you are new, I'm Raaji for any of you who are new. And those returning, welcome back. Now, Libra, you have very, very strong cards. I did a sort of altered Celtic cross. In your conscious position, you receive the Magician and the Empress. Very powerful. You're obviously thinking about what it is you want to make. It's important what you think about to, like, actually, I'll take that back. It's a combination thereof, but what it is that you're creating, you have a very magical ability of that during this time. Like, you really can harness something about that, okay? You have a lot of major arcana. You have the Emperor in your near future. You have the High Priestess in your subconscious, which is very powerful. And there's some other cards, but there's two here that are face down. We have the past and the heart of the matter are not seen yet. Okay, they wanted to show themselves last. Let's see, in the past, Three of Cups, we'll take that. And in your heart space, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Wow. You also have this King, a Knight, and another King on the bottom. There's a lot of people here. Obviously, this can be archetypes of yourself, well, and the Queen, right? 1, 2, 3, 4 people. 3 major arcana. Just a minute. Seasons are changing. It's nice. Appreciate the warmth more once the cold comes, right? Those of you that want to do better, because Jupiter's changing places, right? It's going into Sagittarius, which means that it's in, well, in Western astrology, it'll be in your 3rd house. In Vedic, it'll be in your 2nd house. If you feel like you've been doing a good job, well, I see that will expand. And you just have little things to smaller things to deal with. I see for the majority of you, this is the case. I see something here about like a dissatisfaction where, right, this is about happiness. This is about, well, having what you need to have physically. It's also an internal understanding of your own self-worth, right? Jupiter in the 2nd house. But there's still something, I always see the Queen of Pentacles because she has her head down and she's so focused on this one thing. It's like she has this thing that she made through her hard work and her effort, through to tradition and dedication. But she always seems a little despondent to me, a little bummed out, right? She's like kind of by herself. She's wondering if it's worth it. Things like that. Because what you're learning about is the Knight of Pentacles. The heart is the Queen. Well, someone's trying to help you not be so bummed out. Or when you become despondent, it's like you need your friends. You need you need community. Yes, you need your time alone. You're Libra. You need both sides of it. You know, Virgo came before you. Scorpio is also a very reserved sign. You're in between two very reserved signs. That's why sometimes you feel extremely reserved and you're that Queen of Swords isolating on top of the mountain. And then there's sometimes where you want to go be like a social butterfly, right? But when you don't get to do social butterfly and you're just dealing with all these, because I see all these other people around you, you know, there's a lot of people around you, and the heart of the matter also is like you learning when to take care of yourself, take care of your body, like how and where and when and whom to give your time to, right? That includes yourself. What is that slice of the pie that you give to yourself? How much slice of the pie do you give to your inner child? To your fun, right? I see from now until spring, if you keep track of that pie, and obviously it will have to be altered, right, as time goes along because things change, energy changes. But if you keep that in check, and I sense that a piece of that pie also has to be for you being a social butterfly, okay? Like you going and not just doing your own thing, because I sense you're the kind of person that would take yourself out on a date, right? Whether you're with some, you know, involved with someone romantically or not. But also just like going out and doing something fun with other people, right? Connecting with other people. I see that you have a high possibility, if you keep that in check, to have some strong energy backing you for you to grow what it is that you want to grow, for you to make what it is that you want to make. Something that's extremely emotionally fulfilling. Right? Something that can be long-term and move into the future. In a really stable way. Right? In a way that you have a smile on your face. More often than not. I see that what you're learning about too is that it's important what you ask for, right? Because whatever you ask for, you get. Now, if you get, and I tell this to Sagittarius a lot too, but if you get what it is that you ask for, but then in the end, you're still not satisfied in some way or another, right? You're like, I don't have a big, huge smile on my face. I have like a meh face. Well, why? You know, did you ask for it from your ego, or did you ask from your id, right? From your higher mind. If you did ask for it for your higher self and you understand that, well then, what is it about yourself that's not, that still comes from someone else, right? All these people that interferes from you being able to receive it, accept it, say yes, thank you, yes please. I heard yes please, I'm so grateful. Now, interestingly enough, I just recorded Scorpio, and in their near future was their opposite sign, Taurus. And your near future is the Emperor, which is Aries. I like that. It shows in the near future that you will be having a wonderful mirroring, okay, of yourself. Of course, there could be, you know, an Aries in your life also. You have all the signs here, so that matters not. Plus, these are archetypes of you, regardless of others. But your future self is going to I heard don't worry about money. You're actually in a good position here, the Queen of Pentacles and the Knight. You're strong, you're steady, you're moving forward. Even if you feel like you have minimal of something, which I don't sense that you do, you have enough, then, you know, you need to start asking for what it is that you want. Like, what's the goal? Especially, I feel like, to talk about this for a second, if we're talking about, say, for example, money, like you need more of something to be able to do something. Well, you have to know what you need the money for to be able to receive it, right? Why do you want, like, okay, for example, when I lived in New York City, I was teaching myself Italian, and I was really into it, and I found it very easy to absorb, and I just think it's such a beautiful language, but I was like, I really want to go to Italy, and then so I made a budget, and I was just like, well, the flight costs this, and the hostels would cost this, and this is for the train, and then I got to eat, and da-da-da-da, did a budget, and I want to be gone for, I can take off this much time on work. And I figured out that I needed about $5,000. Well, I think it was like 3 days later, this woman calls me that was a friend of a friend, and she referred me and was like, because she couldn't do the job, and this woman called and was like, I have this job, I need you to work for me for a month. I was like, well, how, I need you to do this, this, and that. These are the tasks. Do you want to do it? And I said, how much are you offering for this amount? And she said, $5,000. That was a pretty miraculous example of, there was a little bit of expediency there in relation to how it naturally works, but you never know. You know what I mean? That's the whole thing. It's like, if you know why it is that you want something, why it is that you are desiring it and desire it for your highest self, then generally it arrives. And it arrives a lot quicker than you think that it will. But you have to know that, right? See, the card that what you're afraid of is the Seven of Wands, which is a card of being afraid. So I heard you're afraid of falling in the hole. Scorpio also had a message about this. It's Scorpio season. There's a lot in Scorpio. There's Mercury, Venus, the Sun, and Jupiter. There's a lot of changes going on in this time. That full moon in Taurus also that's coming up in a few days is also super powerful. Just with that Uranus transit, and also just in general, like shifting. You've had Jupiter in Taurus, and technically in Vedic you'd have Jupiter in Taurus this next time. But with Uranus there, it means that there could be, well, a lot of miraculous things that happen, but there can also be a lot of things, maybe even little things that sort of shake, like when you're climbing up the mountain, and like little rocks that slip and fall that aren't quite stable. You're going to be understanding your mobility in the situation. I like that in the future you know more about who you are, too. Like, you're accepting to who it is that you are more. In a way of, like, I heard your self-esteem. And also the importance of, and your responsibility to your own body, okay? To your own person. And because your body is not just your body. Everything breaks down in threes, right? There's a trinity to everything, the mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and spirit. We have to take care of all three of these things to be able to be unified, right? If we just take care of, you could be a bodybuilder, but, maybe your spirit is completely crushed, or, maybe you're highly spiritual, but, you're depressed, which very well goes hand in hand. But, these are the things. It's just important, again, that piece of the pie, I guess, wherever you are on that, whatever that slice is, I see you need to break up that slice to, like, at very least that slice of pie needs to be, okay, I just saw a bunch of them. I guess I'm going to tell you. You have your mind, your body, and your spirit in your slice of pie. You also have to put in your inner child. You have to put in your social butterfly, and you have to put in your isolation. Male or female, but I know there's a lot of females on this channel. Everybody is creative. Everybody is creative, right? whatever that creative means is for you, where time just disappears, and it's important. This goes back to, this will attach to partially your spirit too, and your heart and your mind. But you know, it's so important to be creative, where it doesn't have anything to do with money or society or whatever. It's just for you, right? I also heard you have to put work, obviously, but you know, what is the slice of pie for your job too? You know, because obviously most folks have to deal with that. If you're just, you know, whatever your job may be. Job could be, you know, as a stay-home mom. That's a big job. Stay-at-home dad. Whatever it is that you're afraid of, you don't have to worry. Whatever it is that you've been up against or having to fight, I heard a lot of your life. And it's mostly, it can come from the external, from other people, but it also is about your, I heard your emotional makeup, right? Because we go from the 3 to the 4. We're going up the line, which is good, but you know, we have to really understand this one and this, you know, look on his face and why his arms are crossed and why did it go from this to be able to get to the 5 and not get stuck, right? To be able to receive in the 6, to not get stuck in the 7, to be mature enough to get through the 8, to be happy enough to accept the 9. Good. I just switched those. Now this is the past. And this is what you'll be learning about. Nothing physical outside of you can satisfy you, right? That's also what this card represents. You could have all the money in the world. It doesn't mean you're happy. You could have the nicest house in the world. It doesn't mean you're happy, right? You could have all the friends in the world, but maybe you don't emotionally connect to them in the way that you want to. Now, I'm not saying any of this is necessarily happening. I'm just saying that that's the fact of the matter. So, what makes you happy, I guess, is a good question. You know, what is it about the people that are in your life that make you happy? What is it that you've been learning about yourself and your own intuitive abilities? I like the subconscious card in your subconscious position. It means that you're coming to balance that out a little bit. It can also be that your subconscious is very emotional. And in that, I actually see that people help you. Have people externally that help you with that. I also see the message of like slow and steady as you move through that space, because not that there's anything wrong with feeling the darker aspects of that, but like having a better control of your own shadows, so that if and when you go to deeper, you know, metaphysical, metaphorical places in your mind, especially the places you can't see, well, and you can't touch, right? It's not tangible, that you don't get stuck in there, because I think that's part of what you're afraid of. Yeah, I just split the deck, you know, what's underneath that. Yes. You know what I mean? This is what you're afraid of. So much fire, too. I see that all people, all types of, all walks of life and people have helped you and hurt you, right? Well, what are the parts that you've been learning this last year that are helping you to understand, like, what structures have you deconstructed, and are you proud of yourself yet? What structures are what are the structures that you've built from the ground up the last couple years even, right? How far have you come? You know what I mean? Like, I heard, do you love yourself yet? You know? Do you know that you can do it on your own, and do you also know that you don't have to do it alone? Right? If you're really this afraid, well, then you need to tell somebody. Right? I also see this as reactionary behavior too, is what you're kind of afraid of. Like, because you got all these kings and queens, they're all really big energy, you know? All this major arcana, it's really big energy. So how do you deal when there's a lot of energy in you? Because I know sometimes your reactionary processes, you feel like, you know that where they block you now. There's also a message here about whoever, the friends that you've had in your life or people that you've had in your life that you don't have anymore. Just try to see that, if you can, as successful. You know, what is it that you've learned from them? It's a great way to figure that out. You know, write all the things that you did learn, even the people that hurt you a lot. There's something about you being really calm too in I think for some of you, you either like to drink, or there's something where, what is that thing that helps you just have an easier conversation? And what is it, the external thing that affects you internally, that interrupts or makes your external expression of how it is that you're feeling complicated, right? Just examining these parts of you and being like, is that who I really am? Or I don't want to be that person anymore. I heard I'm ready to change. And I heard I'm not willing to be swayed by base desires any longer. You know, surface things. Things that come too fast, and then, because when things come too fast, what happens? It's either not appreciated because it's not worked for enough, or it's not stable enough because there wasn't enough time to build it appropriately, right? Oh, I'll talk more about this in the future, but as a last note, the North Node is switching from Leo and the South Node in Aquarius to the North Node in Cancer and the South Node in Capricorn. You, as far as I recall, have it in the opposing houses. You have Capricorn and Cancer and Cancer and Capricorn. So your North Node is in the 10th house. This is definitely a test to your career and your job. Your job or your face in the world, your position in the stability that you bring others, and obviously, of course, Capricorn can be your finances, and your position in that. It's like that's where you're supposed to be putting, where you'll need to be putting energy in. Like you want to climb the mountain, right? But of course, with the fourth house being the opposite, you also have to pay attention to home, right? And you have this 4 here also, and the Emperor. So, you know, that also relates to Saturn in your fourth house too, right? So that means the South Node and Saturn are going to be in your fourth house. You know, there's going to be a test of how focused can you be on all the things that you need to be focused on. How can you put these two things together and move forward the most efficiently, right? You don't have to be in a rush, but just keeping on track, right? Can't be distracted with the little things. You got to keep on track. Be organized. And then I saw that pie again, so maybe that's really important. How much time, you know, for those of you who have kids, it's like how much time you got to give to your kids. If you got 24 hours in a day, you know, how much do you sleep? Like, actually, like, maybe make a 24-hour pie. What does every day look like? You know? And how does that need to be adjusted so that everything has enough time? Right? And your slice is not allowed to be smaller than anything else. It actually should probably be the biggest. Okay? It's your pie. And then I actually heard, for any of you who have like a partner or like a friend, or say like someone that you're trying to make a business with, or someone you're trying to work with in some way or another creatively, I don't know, maybe you can have them make a pie, and then you can sort of see like, well, how much time is being allocated towards this, that, and the other. You know, where and then I heard again, where do adjustments need to be made? I mean, that's what the Emperor would do. You have to be organized to be the Emperor of a kingdom, you know? And to truly be an Emperor, you probably would have a queen, right? You'd have an Empress, right? Delegating tasks and sorting things out, and also balancing, like, your feminine and masculine, you know? All these things. Neat. All right, happy November. I hope you had a wonderful birthday, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.